welcome. It's Tristiane. It is so lovely to see you. We're here to do a short flow, about 20 minutes, focused on your shoulders, releasing tension, tightness, discomfort from the upper body. No props are required for this class, but anything that makes your practice more comfortable, feel free to add that in. I'm going to begin our practice in a child's pose today with our knees a little wide. So as you're ready, come towards the back third of your mat, toes together, knees apart. Of course, feel free to put any kind of prop in this child's pose that feels good. Crawl your fingertips out in front of you and rest your forehead either to the floor or to a yoga block. Once you arrive in your child's pose, take a nice deep breath in. Feel the back of your body expanding. And as you sigh out, feel your hips grow heavy and feel your forehead relax. And breathe deeply here for 2 more breaths. With your next inhale, reach your fingertips a little further forward so you feel a deeper stretch in your shoulders, maybe even pressing the fingertips to the mat, lifting the palms of the hands a little bit, creating some spider tip fingers to accentuate the work in your shoulders. Take another deep, full breath here. Now with the next inhale, begin to lift your forehead and your torso a little bit away from the mat. You're going to thread your right arm underneath your left armpit here. Resting the side of the head on the floor, gazing underneath the left armpit. You can stay here, or you can always take this top arm around behind your back. If this is not comfortable in your child's pose, a little bit too much for your hips or your knees, feel free to take this same position from a table pose. So starting on your hands and knees, you thread your right arm underneath. Works just as well. A little bit less pressure on the lower body if that's needed for you today. Let's take another deep breath here. And we'll simply move to the other side, unthreading the right arm and threading the left arm underneath. Find a position that feels stretchy at the back of your shoulder. Again, you might take your arm around behind your back. On the next inhale, go ahead and unwind yourself. Press your fingertips down to the mat. And now walk your fingers in towards you, coming to seated. If it's comfortable to sit on your heels, feel free to stay. If it's not, feel free to sit cross-legged or up onto a prop, anything that feels nice. Once you arrive in your seat, take a few moments to roll your shoulders backwards. Forwards. Maybe noticing if there's one side or one particular spot that's a little tight or tense. Maybe shrug one shoulder up and then the other. And you might decide to nod your chin towards your chest and then gently roll your head a little to the right, a little to the left. And there's really no wrong way to move here as long as you're moving away from pain. It's okay to feel intensity and stretch. When you're ready, Gently come back to the center line. Bring your gaze forward. You're going to take your hands behind you. You could interlace your fingers here, or you could hold a wrist or grab a strap. Sock works well. You don't need a lot of kind of space between the hands here. And you want to then relax your shoulders, relax your hands as far down as you can. Breathe in here, grow tall through the crown of your head. And then as you breathe out, keep that tall posture as you lift your arms behind you. Be really mindful as you start to lift your arms that you are not flaring your rib cage. You want to keep your posture straight and tall, so one line from the crown of your head to your tailbone, as straight as your spine allows naturally. And then just the arms are lifting, so you feel a stretch at the front of the shoulders. Knit your rib cage together, pull your belly button towards your spine. And then gently release this. Release your hands, maybe shake them out, wiggle your fingers. Now reach your arms in front of you as you inhale. Interlace your fingers again. This time push your palms outwards. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Now it's fine to flare your rib cage forward, coming into a little bit of a back bend if you like. And as you exhale, pull your belly back, round your shoulders forward, come into a little bit of a cat shape in your spine as you push your palms away from you. Inhale, lifting up. There's a little bit of that cow back bend. You can even look up to your hands. Exhale, round forward into your cat. If it's too much to have the fingers interlaced, feel free to grab a wrist or again a prop, sock, a strap tie between your hands. We're going to do one more like this. And then inhale, bring your arms up over your head, release your hands. Again, wiggle the fingers or roll the wrist, just release there. And then bring the hands down, coming to your table pose, hands and knees. Take a moment to get comfortable. Spread your fingers nice and wide. You want your index fingers to be pointing towards the front of the mat, your index fingers parallel with the long edge of the mat. As you inhale, drop the center of your chest, roll your shoulders back, find that cow-shaped spine again, looking up. As you exhale, lift your belly button, tuck your tail, and your gaze, cat. A couple more like that, inhaling, cow. And exhaling, cat. Roll your shoulders back, cow. Let your shoulders round forward, cat. Let's take one more set. As you inhale, return to your neutral. Walk your hands just a little bit farther forward in front of you here. Tuck your toes under. Push back through the arches of your feet. Spread your fingers wide again. Lift your knees. Come to your downward facing dog. And first, just take a moment to move around in any way that feels good in this downward dog. Doesn't matter if it's focused on your shoulders at the moment. You can do the foot pedals, swaying the hips, anything that feels nice. Just enjoy. From here, soften your knees a little bit, giving them a deep bend, bringing your belly towards your thighs. You're up on your tippy toes, and you'll already start to feel a deeper stretch into your shoulders. You can stay right here, simply focusing on lifting your tailbone up towards the sky. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can gently bounce a few times, opening the shoulders a little bit more, chest towards the thighs. Take another breath. Finding stillness. As you're ready, walk or step your feet up towards the front of the mat, coming to dangle, coming to your forward fold. Feet a comfortable distance apart for your body. Hanging out for a few breaths here. Keep your knees again nice and soft. A couple different options for your arms. You could interlace your hands to the opposite elbow crease, giving a little bit of a tug downwards to the shoulders. Or you could take your hands again behind your back, lifting your arms away from your torso. As you release the hands, bring them onto your shins or your thighs. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Feel free to let your legs grow a little straighter. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, you're going to roll yourself all the way up to standing, bringing your arms up over your head. As you exhale, let your hands come down by your sides. Roll your shoulders a few times back. And a few times forward. And then letting the arms hang. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, think about relaxing your shoulders even a little bit more. With the next inhale, reach your arms up over your head. As you exhale, press your palms together and fold again forward. As you inhale, lift up halfway, hands to the shins or the thighs. If you're ready, fingertips can stay on the floor. As you exhale, plant your hands down, step back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. And out. Again, soften your knees a little bit. Lift your hips up and back, feeling the stretch in your shoulders. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, round yourself forward to the plank, really pulling your belly button up and in. Shoulders come over the wrists. Drop your knees to the floor. Untuck your toes. Lower your chest and your chin to the mat as you squeeze your elbows in. Tuck your pelvis down. Roll your shoulders back first. And then begin to lift the center of your chest, inhaling into your cobra. Exhale to release. Push yourself back to child's pose. You can keep your knees close together, or you can bring them a little further apart. As you inhale, make your way forward again to table. Tucking your toes under here, push back through the arches of your feet. And again, lift to your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. As you exhale, you're going to step your right foot up to the front of the mat beside your right hand. Bring your left knee to the floor. Your left hand stays planted to the mat. You can angle your left wrist in any way that feels comfortable. Feel free to place a prop underneath your left hand if you feel like there's not enough space. On your inhale, reach your right arm forward. Your palm faces to the inside of the mat. Start to lift your arm up as you inhale, and as you lift up, rotate your palm to face outward. And sweep it down and back. As you sweep down and back, you're going to rotate the palm to face inward as it comes forward on the inhale. Exhale, rotate the palm outward and back. One more big circle with the rotating palm facing inward as you sweep up and backwards as you sweep down. Coming all the way back, plant the right hand down, tuck the left set of toes under, lift the left knee, step back to your downward facing dog, bend your knees as you do so, lift your hips, press into all 10 of your fingertips. On an inhale, you might straighten your legs a little as you lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward up towards your left hand, drop your right knee to the floor. Again, you can angle your right hand or place your hand on a block if that's more comfortable. Reach your left arm forward, the palm faces in as you lift up. And then slowly it rotates outward so that by the time it's at the top, it's starting to face out and down. Inhale, forward, palm rotates. Exhale, back, palm rotates out. And you do one more like that. I can hear some nice clicky noises in this shoulder joint here. It's a little tighter than the other one. Plant your hand down. Tuck your back set of toes under, and now you're going to step your right foot up next to your left foot. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Again, we'll dangle for a few breaths. Take any of the arm variations in this that feel good. Lacing the arms up, taking them behind you. Sometimes you feel nice to just grab the elbows behind the back. As you're ready, release the hands, inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll yourself up to standing, reach your arms up. Exhale, let your hands come down by your sides. As you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. As you exhale, plant your hands, step or hop or walk back to your downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit. Lift your hips up and back as you inhale. And as you exhale. As you inhale, you round yourself forward to your plank. Bring your knees to the floor. Tuck your elbows in. Untuck your toes. Slowly lower to the mat. Tuck your pelvis down. Inhale. Lift to your cobra. Exhale. Sweep back towards child's pose. Feel free to take your knees wider if that's something that feels more comfortable as you come back to that child's pose. Push your fingertips into the mat, lift the palms of your hands. You already start to feel that little stretch in your shoulders. And then almost like you're gripping yourself forward, like you have little suction cups on your fingers, you're gonna lift your hips up, plant your palms down, bring your knees in if you brought them wide, tuck your toes, lift to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up as you inhale. As you exhale, now step your right foot behind your right hand. Rotate your left heel to the floor and make your way up to warrior one. Hands to the hips. Or arms can come to the sky if you're ready. Inhale here. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and gently lean as you exhale over towards your right, stretching the whole left side of the torso. Feel free if you want a little more to draw your arms a little back or to look up underneath your left arm. As you inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, you're going to release your left wrist, take your left arm behind your back, pressing the back of your hand onto your tailbone, reach around. You can either hold your left hand with your right hand, you can interlace your fingers, or you can kind of grab your left wrist, whatever works for you. And you're going to gently guide your left hand towards, as much as you can, towards your right hip. You might even get around, I like to pretend I'm holding hands with myself here, over towards my right hip. Roll your shoulders back as you inhale. Take a deep, full breath here. Inhale again. And as you exhale, you're going to fold forward to a humble warrior. Feel free to keep your hands here or now to lift your interlaced fingers towards the sky. You can always switch to holding your elbow creases or holding a wrist or holding a prop, a strap or a sock or whatnot, if your hands don't like to stay laced with the fingers all tied up. Sometimes when my shoulders are particularly tight, I tend to get swinging apart. So it's better to grab something that has a little more hold than just lacing up the fingers. As you're ready, you're going to peel yourself halfway up on an inhale. As you exhale, plant your hands down. Turn your back foot straight forward and back, and step back with soft knees to that kind of bent downward facing dog, pressing into the fingertips. As you inhale, straighten the leg, pull yourself forward to plank. Exhale, drop the knees to the mat, tuck the elbows in, untuck the toes, slowly lower, keeping the elbows hugged in, keeping the shoulder blades back. Inhale, keep rolling the shoulders down the back as you lift to cobra. Exhale to release. Now tuck your toes under, take your hips back towards your heels as a funky child's pose. So you're stretching the arches of your feet. You may have to crawl your fingertips a little forward for this one so that you can press your fingertips into the mat and lift the palms of your hands, feeling that stretch. Now tractioning yourself forward, lift your hips, plant your hands down, and then lift your knees, come to that bent knee, downward facing dog. As you inhale, you might straighten your legs, lifting your left leg to the sky. Exhale, step your left foot behind your left hand. Drop your right heel to the floor. Inhale to lift up. Warrior one. Take a breath to get situated here. And then you're going to grab your right wrist with your left hand. And on exhale, lean a little bit over to your left. You can always pull your arms back or gaze up underneath your right arm for a little bit more stretch here. Inhale, come back to the center. As you exhale, you release your hands. You're going to take your right hand behind your back. And again, hold on with your left hand. Pull that right arm around. So you feel a nice opening at the front of the shoulder. You can lace the fingers up. You can just hold the wrist, whatever works for you. Roll the shoulders back and take a deep breath here. Inhale again. As you exhale, fold forward. Humble warrior. You can stay with the hands at the outer hip or around the back, or now you can lift your arms a little bit up into the sky if you would like. Wherever you are, think about maybe tucking your chin a little towards the chest, extending that stretch up a little bit along the neck. On an inhale, peel yourself halfway up. Plant your hands down. Turn your back foot straight forward and back, and step back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit. As you inhale, round forward to plank. As you exhale, knees to the mat, untuck the toes. Actively shrug your shoulders back so you feel like your neck is just so spacious here. And then with those tucked up elbows, one more lower to the mat. Inhale, tuck your pelvis down, lift your chest. Exhale, lower. You're going to press yourself back towards that child's pose. Any variation that feels good, knees together or apart. Take one deep breath here. And then this time you're going to walk your fingertips towards you, coming back to seated again. From here, reach your arms in front of you. Adjust your seat as needed. If sitting on the heels doesn't feel good, there's no need to sit here. You can always sit cross-legged. Cross your right arm on top of your left. You can use your left arm like a lever to pull your right arm across. Or you can do the backs or the fronts of your hands together in an eagle arm. Allow your chin to sink towards your chest. Pull your belly towards your spine. On an inhale, you're going to unwind, looking forward. Maybe even sweep your arms up and out. And then bring the hands back in front of you. Left arm comes on top. You can lever across or go towards an eagle variation. Maybe tucking the chin a little bit in. Let your elbows grow heavy. Unwind on an inhale, maybe reach your arms up. As you exhale, you're going to come forward again, planting your hands on the mat, coming back to a table pose. Leave your hips above your knees as you begin to crawl your hands forward for a puppy pose, lying your forearms on the mat, perhaps even lying your forehead on the mat. You can always use a prop here underneath your forehead. You are welcome to tuck your toes under if that feels good. Continue to crawl the fingertips forward. If it's preferable, you can always place your chin on the mat here instead of your forehead. Allow the center of your chest to relax towards the floor in this puppy pose. One more deep breath. You're going to untuck your toes. If you tuck them under, simply slide yourself back towards that child's pose. We're going to go back to where we started. Take your knees a little wider. Again, if you prefer to do this twisted action in your table pose, feel more than free to do so. You're going to take your right arm and thread it underneath your left armpit. Reach the right fingertips in front of you, or if you prefer, take the right arm behind the back. You may notice that this feels quite different than it did at the beginning of class. And with your next breath, you'll unthread the right arm, go over to the other side, taking the left arm underneath. Let the weight of your body help to open your shoulder here. On an inhale, you're going to unwind. Reach your fingertips out in front of you. Forehead to the floor. If being in child's pose is no longer comfortable, feel free to crawl forward onto your belly here. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Feel the back expanding. And as you breathe out, feel your body relaxing. 2 more deep breaths. As you're ready, on around your neck. Inhale, walk your fingertips in towards you. Take a moment to roll your shoulders back. And come to a comfortable seated position. From here, we're going to finish off our class. If you'd like to take a Shavasana, feel more than free to do so. You can always stay in relaxation for another 5 or 10 minutes if you have the time today. When you're ready to return, you'll join me here in your seated position. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Close with one deep breath together, in through the nose, out through the mouth. On 3. 1, 2, 3.